On the sponsorship side, finding the people who are not just wise mentors, but are actually actively pulling you into situations that are where you might feel a little out over your skis, but you're getting experience, or they're the person tapping you to say, you know what, you should be in this meeting, or guiding you in this way.
Probably one of the things that I would recommend is people really think about, do I really need to raise money? Or often you see people have raised money and they're already thinking about the next raise, you know, because they've already spent that money in their mind, in their budget. And they're like, well, that $1 million is gone. I've got 3 months. I better get on to the next one. And
that's right.
You just don't give the product and the business enough time really to become successful. And of course, what ends up happening to a lot of them, they run out of money.
Well, first of all, you need a petri dish that you can excel in. So if you're in a culture where you don't think you're being respected or heard, make a plan. I mean, you're swimming upstream and you don't need to. The other thing is that, you know, it's never handed to you. The opportunities are never handed to you. You have to go after them.
But what started hitting me was that other people, specifically our ancestors, took significant leaps. You know, take my grandmother as an example. Left Belarus, went through Russia, went through Japan, ultimately made her way to the United States with nothing. And you think about the risk that it took, the courage that it took. And then we find ourselves in these well-paying corporate jobs. Someone like you calls and says, I have an amazing opportunity for you to make a significant impact, and we don't have the courage to take a leap.
Well, you know, Steve, I was so exhausted. I don't know about you, but I think maybe other entrepreneurs that maybe have shared that with you, is where they just, you know, and I intentionally, I was like, I'm going to go work for somebody else for 2 years and let them have the headache of making payroll, and, you know, so-and-so doesn't want to do this, and blah, blah, blah.
The first is to just go for it. And when I say go for it, I mean lean into it. That idea is already a real company, and go start selling it to people. Go start talking to people left, right, and center. Anybody that'll listen to you about your idea and get some real feedback. Best yet, go talk to potential customers and get some real feedback. They'll educate you real fast on how dumb that idea actually is. And so lean into it. You know, you don't need to go get a patent on the idea. No one's going to steal your idea. Someone else has probably already thought about your idea. Ideas are really important, but they're only important with execution. And so go test that. Go try to work it forward a little bit and see what's actually going on.
But the other things that we found is that the effort norm of the whole board goes up if a woman joins. So I think if a woman joins the board, you know, she's gonna take it very seriously. She's gonna really value that. It may not feel as clubby to her because she may be a little more independent. So she will ask good questions, and as she asks good questions, the whole dynamics. The conference board has done a study that said the whole dynamics change. The men's effort norm goes up too, and everyone is more engaged.
My core purpose is to develop the right conditions and environment for a team and a community to thrive around the product that we're building to create this more sustainable, profitable, and distributed energy future. Because if we do that, then we'll all thrive, and we'll all be happy, and we'll all have access to the lifestyle we want in a far more enjoyable way.
So when things are going well, you know, everybody's your friend, everybody's easy to talk to, and it is easy to talk to when everyone's going well, whether you're talking to your board on up or you're talking to your own team. When things are not going well, and I mean, just thinking objectively about my whole career in startups, if you were to add up every hour of every day that you were working on a startup, there's more in the category of things not going well than there is in the category of going well.
Life is hard. However, sometimes it's just right in front of you. And some people are too worried to take that leap of faith. Maybe that they lack self-confidence. or maybe if they became a little more self-aware, how subtle it is that sometimes people offer you help and you're either too proud to take it, or you just dismiss that, oh, they don't really want to help me. I didn't hear that right. So the way in which I feel like part of the underlying success is it's show up. 80% of everything is showing up, and you never know who you're going to meet. And then the rest is really hard work. You better show up and do a good job, right? You better follow through. You need to make sure that you are distinctive, because life is competitive.
And the crazy thing was, this was July 4th of 2001. And I had this idea, and it was clear as day, and I had plans to go out with friends for July 4th, but I canceled my plans, and I stayed. At the time, my parents were in Florida, and I was living out of their apartment in downtown New York.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about that particular apartment is actually when my cousin purchased the camp that my dad and uncle went to, he worked out of the same place, probably in the same room. And So I sat down at my computer there, started writing a new staff application where the data would flow directly into a database. And I was just super passionate about it. And I'll never forget hearing like the bang of fireworks outside the window. And I could as I'm launching my company.
It's a moment.
This is it. It's like, awesome. Oh, the fireworks are going off. I had no idea what that would mean.
Life is an experience, and you should not limit that. And one of the ways in which it's most important to expand that is to travel, and if possible, earlier in your career than I did. I did not live and work abroad until about 6 years ago. And so I wish I had had that opportunity much earlier in my career, because the world is a fascinating and complicated place, and you can't read enough to inform yourself about how the world works. You need to go and see it on someone else's turf.
It's like that notion in Good to Great where he goes, you gotta have the right people on the bus, first who, then what. With remote work, it's first who, then where. Right? You don't worry about where. It goes back to first find who, whereas if you're hyper focused on the water cooler and having everybody stand around it, it's first where, then who.
I totally agree.
There are arguments that, sure. I know for me, I live by myself. In the house by myself. Like the highlight of my day is to go pick up packages at our office and say hi to somebody, or go to the supermarket and talk to a cashier to have human contact without a 30 millisecond delay. But
good stuff,
so
Doctor.
You need to use your time wisely, right? Are you using it wisely in your work, in your personal life? Because you're not getting it back. I'm not getting this hour back. I want to make sure I'm using the hour in a way that benefits me and my goals, my business's goals. So that sometimes I see people doing work that they feel is so important, but in the spectrum of priorities, it's really down at the bottom. So they think it's important, but really it's not. So just if you take a few minutes and really think about what are the 3 most important things for me to do today and nail them, then if you have time left over, you can work on other things. But let's get your priorities. If you take a minute and think about it, you can use your time wisely.
The odds of having a good idea is really slim.
It is, isn't it?
And most people think their ideas are good because they like them and their friends and family like them, and who gives a crap what your friends and family think? My advice is find the fastest, easiest, cheapest way to see if people you've never met will give you money spontaneously.